Hey guys, this is the Demon here. I'm making a video reacting to BSJ. I've also watched a lot of professional gameplay as well. And I've been playing Dota since Dota 1 back in 2006. And I've also been playing Dota 2 since 2011. But yeah, this is going to be a video analyzing this game. And yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, with yet another episode of the Educational Smurf series, where I teach you the difference between somebody in my bracket and somebody in yours. Kill the support first. Sadly, we missed twice in a row. And this Ursa is going to go bye-bye.
One hit
and
kill.
Today, that bracket that we're going to be smurfing on
sense.
is the 5 to 6K bracket. After watching this video, you're going to understand what it takes to climb from the mid 5K bracket all the way through the ranks of Immortal. And one of the most important parts of that is what you do in the pick stage. Before we jump right into the game, I would like to look at the two drafts, because in this situation, I had overall last pick and I want to talk about it. The three most important things I consider in any draft is having stuns, damage, and objective taking. The stuns and damage are crucial to being able to kill heroes, and the objective taking is crucial to being able to advance the game. So, when I look at both drafts, I have Axe, Spear Breaker, Invoker, and Crystal Maiden. So what I see with these four heroes, especially the fact that my Invoker is Wex, I see that we not only have very little objective taking, none of these heroes really hit buildings, we also have very little damage early and super later on in the game. We have a decent amount of control with stuns. Invoker has good soft crowd control. Same with Crystal Maiden. Spear Breaker and Axe offer a lot of stuns. So when I look at the three main parts of a draft that need to happen, I'm seeing a significant lack of early and late game damage. So my hero that I end up picking is going to be Shadow Fiend.
Well, I guess it's more like a stun.
Let's go ahead and jump into it. So in this game, my main idea, picking Shadow Fiend, was the whole damage component of things. And I especially like having ranged damage dealers, because the opponent has so many ways to control me if I do enter the fight. And ranged damage dealers are oftentimes much more reliably able to output their damage. In terms of starting items, I've been really liking this double mango build on SF, giving you that extra raises in lane and also just a little bit of health regen when you're not using it. With the whole regen changes we've talked about with 7.40, that seems to have paid off a lot. So here we are in the laning phase. Nothing's happened just yet. We're going to be against a Phoenix and a Shadow Shaman off lane. One of the first questions as I pause here that I would like to talk to you guys about when it comes to the laning phase is how often the support should theoretically be playing with the carry.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with
your support
how helpful the carry is to the support, meaning do they offer a lot of damage and harass and aggression?
They're helping you
and
by
two,
staying in the sidelines.
how well can the carry CS without the support
but
there?
Not really
so a lot of times, a general rule of thumb for you guys is that ranged damage dealers want you to lane with them a lot more often. And in this particular lane, both of our heroes are high damage, somewhat squishy, especially squishy, in Crystal Maiden's case, damage dealers. So what that means for us is we need to play together as often as possible, and that we need to protect each other with spells and attacks. So that's the approach that I have going into this lane. Posturing myself aggressively to be as close to CM as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to help him here because I know he's getting initiated onto, but I don't want to walk through the Phoenix. So I'm like, okay, just focusing on CSing, hitting Phoenix when I can. I like to apply this early aggression with the raises. Also, I'm zoning him away from these CS. So those raises not only did damage, but I also prevented him from contesting 2 of the CS.
And to also help him get the last hits.
So in this example, as I mentioned going into the lane, I'm going to help my Crystal Maiden when she's near me. But since I'm like a somewhat slow ranged guy, that can't really happen unless he's in position. So in these types of cases, setting the tone for what you know you're going to do in the lane according to your support, and then just observing what ends up happening in the lane is really important.
The carry for not doing anything, because actually BSJ didn't do anything to help the CM. But naturally, that
I
would have
really
been
like
the
Falcon
better
Blade on
move what
SF because he
BSJ is
heavily
doing,
relies on
but
mana in order to
does
lane
CM
and in
know
order
that?
to farm, and he's also kind of squishy.
Does
So,
your support know that when
both
you're
reasons
playing?
makes it really
Probably
good.
not.
I also love the
There
fact
would
that
probably be a
SF
lot
can
of
secure range
rage
creep so easily.
going,
Notice that my
which
positioning
would
is
lead
really
to
passive
your
and really
teammates not helping
aggressive,
you at
depending
all,
on
or
like being
worse,
close to my
like
Crystal Maiden or not. So he
actually
was far
hurting
away,
your
so I'm like, I'm
gameplay,
going to play
aka
defensive. But
stealing
then
your
I see the
experience,
Shadow
not really
Shaman
doing
walking
anything.
into the middle of both of us, and I immediately think this is
know I
an
haven't been
opportunity to
positive this whole
capitalize
thing,
on.
but-
So I thought he was juking us in the trees, so I missed that raise, but then we end up getting a kill.
But that does make sense. BSJ is a good player, but like,
This is where the mangoes pay off, and we get a double kill.
also Phoenix,
And this is a
personally, I rarely ever see, especially in 5K bracket, I rarely ever see an offlaner, doesn't matter who it is, Phoenix in this case, go so up north, like two Shadow Fiends, like melee range face. Usually that is not the case. Like every game that I play, that is just essentially never the case. So actually BSJ is having a very easy game. Of course, that's why he's posting it, because he had a very easy game, but it has nothing to do with his skill level. It's the enemy skill level that's really bad.
an example of when you're
It's
really
clearly,
keenly
like-
aware of
like,
what
duh,
your
if
support's
you're a range hero,
role
why would
is
you
with you.
go in melee
There's times where you're like,
range,
I
and
can't do
especially as
anything
a
to help that guy.
spellcaster?
I'm just going to
Like,
let him
Phoenix is
die. And then there's
100% a
times where you're like,
spellcaster. He's
let's
not a
freaking
right
kill
clicker.
them. This is not the proper
So
formula
it
for them
literally
to be
makes
winning the
zero
lane.
sense that
And you
Phoenix
capitalize on these
did what he
opportunities a lot
did, and
better.
especially as a 5K, like usually
We buy ourselves our
5Ks
item.
don't mess up like that.
My
BSJ just
support
having an
is
easy
stacking
game.
at the 3-minute mark. I wanted him to just single pull and then walk over
Yeah,
to
it
the
has nothing to do-
Lotus.
Like I've seen 2Ks,
but because he's stack
2K
pulling and he's going to
Phoenixes
be a
make
bit
way
late,
better plays than that. Like that was nothing.
we end up having to give up the
and
Lotus, which
also
I don't
BSJ
like,
should have
but
been
I
able to
also don't want to
right-click,
fight them
period.
1v2 and take a lot of damage because
Also,
of the fact
Phoenix
that we
for
just
throwing
got
his
2 kills.
spirits. Wait,
And I
wasn't
don't want
Phoenix
to
throwing his
an
spirits at the
opportunity to
CM?
capitalize defensive. But
Wait,
then I
hold
see
on.
the Shadow Shaman walking into the middle of both of us.
Because that wouldn't make
and I
any sense
immediately
at all.
think this is an opportunity to capitalize on. So I thought he was juking us in the trees, so I missed that raise, but then we end up getting a kill.
I don't think he had his spirits. Is his spirits on
This is where the
cooldown?
mangoes pay off, and we get a double kill. And this is an example of
kinda
when you're
looked like
really
he was-
keenly aware, juking
Wait,
us in the
hold on.
trees, so I missed that raise, but then we end up getting a kill.
Yeah, he doesn't have any of his spirits up. It was
really
circle
good.
around him. It was completely.
I also love the fact that SF can secure range creep
Yeah,
so
because he
easily.
just used it. He just
Notice
used
that my
the
positioning
spirits.
is really passive and really aggressive, depending on like being close to my Crystal Maiden or not. So he was far away, so I'm like, I'm going to play defensive. But then I see the Shadow Shaman walking into the middle of both of us, and I immediately think this is an opportunity to capitalize on. So I thought he was juking us in the trees, so I missed that raise. But then we end up getting.
That makes no sense what Phoenix is doing. He's way up there when clearly they have full HP. Like his enemy has full HP and he's right clicking. That is not a thing. Like that's not a. I don't even see 2K Phoenixes, 2K MMR Phoenixes doing that. Like they're not up here. Like you would never see a range fucking spellcaster up here. That's just not a thing. BSJ is just having a very easy game.
But I also don't want to fight them
I
1v2
just really wanted
and
to
take a
know
lot of
that.
damage
That
because of the
was-
fact that
well,
we just
I
got 2
also
kills.
thought he had his
And I
spirits
don't
up.
want
I could've sworn-
to throw away this lead.
I thought maybe you
But
used it on Crystal Maiden, but actually
Notice how
he
we're
didn't
playing
use it at
super
all.
passive
He
because our
used-
Crystal Maiden setting
he
up
was on
for a stack
cooldown.
pull that he
used
set
it
up.
earlier on Shadow
And in this
Fiend.
case, whenever your support is stack pulling like this, don't walk up, don't take a bunch of damage, don't try to secure CS.
Let's see.
Just serve as a bodyguard
I got so many
for the
freaking
pull
hours
camp,
in this
and then
game.
you can walk back and
It's
farm it yourself.
ridiculous.
But
I have
what's
a lot of
happening here is
freaking
they're
hours.
about to pull the large, and I see that. So because they're pulling the large camp, I'm going to kill this pull as fast as I can to
Yes.
walk over there and get the CS from them, because I don't want them like denying creeps for free, right?
And you don't want them
So
taking
we
the
do
neutral
that.
creeps away from
We
you
walk
as
back
well.
over to the pull camp.
And
We've
also you
hardly
don't
missed
want
anything
them-
because of that.
You also don't want the enemy too close to the neutral creeps that you're killing, otherwise you'll be sharing that experience with them as well, which means you'll be getting less experience if you waited. So you're getting way more benefits than just denying their last hits on your creeps. You're actually getting more experience for the kills.
That the longer we take, the more creeps we miss. So that's like the entire idea with like killing the small camp as soon as possible. We actually managed to land that last hit on that jungle creep.
Yep. Naturally.
So one thing I really like about SF Carry is that he can take early points and stats. I don't love taking early points in minus armor other than the first...
I'm not worried about that the Phoenix isn't doing anything about that shackle. That's fine. Of course, he's in a really bad situation. He has to worry about trying to make it so that the safe lane doesn't get too many last hits, right? And he's obviously not a good player. Like, obviously, if he was a better player, he would have definitely capitalized on the shackle. Wow, my avatar is literally in the way. It's literally covering him. No, I just realized that I was covering him the entire time. Well, where should I even put this? Like here? You know what? Here. For the meantime, right here, I think right here would be fine.
Level because of the fact that it just really shoves the lane. And that it makes it disadvantageous for the lane equilibrium.
Sorry.
One thing to point out here is that just now you saw me moving my camera mid. I have registered that there's a lot of pressure on my mid lane. I see my Spirit Breaker had to run there. I see that my Invoker is getting dove behind his tower. And this is going to be relevant later. Just gathering this type of information to know, like, oh, this is the pace of the game that's happening. Very good to be aware of that as a carry. Sometimes it means nothing in terms of what you're actually going to do, but it also prepares...
Hold on. What was he
saying? One thing I really like about SF Carry is that he can take early points and stats. I don't love taking early points in minus armor other than the first level because of the fact that it just really shoves the lane and that it makes it disadvantageous for the lane equilibrium.
Go for spells.
One thing to point out here is that just now you saw me moving my camera mid. I have registered that there's a lot of pressure on my mid lane. I see my Spirit Breaker had to run there. I see that my Invoker is getting dove behind his tower.
If you get a point into
and this is going to be relevant
armor,
later.
It'll actually push the wave faster, even without you attacking them, because it's a passive aura, right? It's just a constant minus armor to everyone, essentially, like the entire enemy team, obviously. So essentially, your creeps would naturally be pushing the wave, just for getting a point into it.
Just gathering this type of information to know, like, oh, this is the pace of the game that's happening. Very good to be aware of that as a carry. Sometimes it means nothing in terms of what you're actually going to do, but it also prepares you for decisions you might have to make. So our Spirit Breaker's coming top in this case. We're trying to be really aggressive and run at them because we know we can. Phoenix does a little bit of an over-aggressive dive there, and we get the kill. Go back to farming as soon as possible. We want to pull the small if we can because it's 5 minutes and there's neutral items, so we call for our Crystal Maiden to pull. If he had not pulled, I would do it myself.
I could be really picky and just be like, the Phoenix definitely played very aggressive.
He is pulling, I'm going to walk back up
but for playing aggressive, he played really well.
Maybe long range raise, yes.
Despite the fact that he died.
We're going to do.
He did.
Sometimes that's not even worth risking, but like in this case, I was kind of basing it off of how aggressive does Shadow Shaman play. If he had like walked at me more aggressively, which I think he could have, then I wouldn't have gone for this. Yes. Once again, checking mid, seeing that my Invoker's super low, and that DP seems to be controlling the lane.
It's really, really weird.
I'm like, oh, I can help my Crystal Maiden here. They're being over aggressive with their dive. I just know this because we have a lot of damage. And they're diving into us, so that's kind of the benefit of being ranged heroes, that with a bunch of long-range damage is like, they can't walk into us and get out like this. I actually scanned to see if Death Prophet was coming, and then she wasn't, so we're good. Go back to lane immediately.
Canceled his dive, period. He shouldn't have canceled it at all.
Push out the lane, go get the Lotus, backpack our items, little efficiency things here while we use the Lotus.
Yeah, BSJ is having a really easy lane. But it also doesn't help that he's a really good player, too.
These little region things add up a lot. We see that our mid lane is getting pressured, so we quickly push this as fast as possible so that we can potentially help or apply pressure of our own. I see my Invoker's getting dove. I have level 6. I honestly wish I had TP'd more aggressively here. I end up chasing the Death Prophet and making him back off. And I'm thinking, let's just keep this tower from dying by pushing out the wave, so I'm going to do that as fast as I can. The Death Prophet's actually going to run at me here, and I didn't
Yeah.
expect this. We're going to try to turn
You
this.
should've-
I honestly didn't have to die
personally
here.
think BSJ
I
should
missed
have
the raise,
also
the
used
first
his
raise.
Q.
If I had hit the first raise and the second raise, he would have died.
Yeah.
Good move by Death Prophet. Honestly, I liked my TP mid here to dissuade the aggression, but then going for the wave was
just wasn't
definitely
quite
too
looking at
greedy.
him.
I could have just attacked it from long range and used max range.
See, Phoenix
raise.
is literally going in range
It's just
of the
important
tower.
to note
like,
that
this doesn't
I don't
happen
regret that TP, and I
in
think you're going to
5K
see this
MMR.
pay off
It's
in
just-
terms of
it's
what I'm doing
crazy,
later.
man. He's having
So
one of those
because I
rare
left
games
top,
where he has a
I
much
could have
higher
just been
chance of
jungling
winning.
in this
So
area
essentially,
over
if
here,
BSJ wasn't playing,
if I
I'm
didn't
sure,
die,
like if
and that would have been
whoever
perfectly fine
account he's
because
playing
I'm
on,
level 6 SF with
if that guy was
the extra
playing
damage
instead,
from souls and
it
the
would be
ability
a
to
totally
jungle pretty
different
fast
story.
from raises and giving my support the lane. And you're going to see that, like, I just don't mind jungling off map now, especially since I don't have a TP for top. I don't want to play top because they have really heavy ganking heroes with the
is he playing someone
Disruptor
else's-
and the
I actually
Shaman.
don't even know if he's
And
playing someone
so when I
else's
see
account.
other lanes getting pressure,
or if he's just playing with like his team of BSJ viewers. Does this say? No, does not. It does not.
that means I'm more likely to participate in the game early because I'm a high damage mid-game carry and because I'm a squishy ranged guy.
But he doesn't have too many viewers.
These are all deciding factors.
That's 5K.
So what I don't want to be is the Crystal
most of his
Maiden in
viewers
this
are
case who's
below
getting dove
5K.
underneath my
I'd
tier 1
say,
tower.
like,
I'm like, okay,
between,
that guy's
like,
getting dove. He's probably
1
dying.
to 3K MMR.
And I don't want that to be me. Because that could be me if I was playing in lane. But since I saw them use a lot of health and mana to kill him,
So now
I'm more willing to come
BSJ
back to lane. But I
is-
do
yeah,
see
exactly.
that the
He's ready
Phoenix
to
is
go back
6.
to
So I'm
lane.
like,
I was
okay,
just
gotta be a bit
thinking.
careful. See what they're doing. Okay, I'm just gonna TP mid and release some pressure again.
I think that's
Death
a bad
Prophet's just
idea
running
by
at me.
BSJ. Personally, I
These are
don't
the type of
think,
situations
because
that can
that's
get really
very
annoying as a
throwy.
carry, but if you can help,
If
it's a big deal that you keep
literally-
these towers alive.
I just want to point out how bad that was because literally he didn't have like no info. Like you basically had no information.
Of health and mana to kill him.
He sees one guy on the map right now, but he knows that there was like 1 or 2 top.
More willing
a
to
little
come
bit
back
ago.
to lane, but I do see that the Phoenix
But
is 6.
it doesn't
so I'm
mean
like, okay,
that,
gotta
that
be a bit
their
careful.
TPs are
See what they're doing.
on cooldown,
Okay, I'm just gonna
right?
TP mid and
And
release
they
some
could very
pressure
well
again.
be TPing. Death Prophet, like if Death Prophet just literally had one more person with him, like like Disruptor, could have been Disruptor. If we just W'd on the Shadow Fiend, BSJ would have instantly died. Or he could have just made him glimpse him to the top tower and just, have Death Prophet and him just take, not necessarily take out that tower, because obviously his team's on the way. Sorry, obviously his team's on the way right here, so naturally he's not gonna be able to finish going through that tower, but like he could do a lot of damage to it either way. But like really just like one more person with Death Prophet, that would have been a bad TP. Never ever TPN on a Death Prophet. Like it just doesn't, like by yourself, I mean, it just doesn't work. It doesn't. And she has an AoE silence and an AoE Q that does a lot of damage, and she already pre-ulted, so she's going to be able to recover all that health within a decent period of time. And then, of course, whenever she gets a kill, that just adds more damage with her ult as well on top of the heals. So she'll be healed to full HP, but by the time it's over, she just gets like basically 1 hero kill.
Death Prophet's just running at me. These are the type of
Also,
situations
there was
that can
no
get
one
really
top.
annoying as a carry, but if
Shadow
you can
Fiend
help,
could've very
it's a
easily
big deal
just
that you
run
keep
top,
these towers
and his
alive.
team was
Because
about
even
to go
though the
middle
opponent's
anyway,
being
so
very
it just made
aggressive
no
on 2
sense.
different lanes, they're not getting any crucial objectives. And I've
Yeah,
just
they're
seen
not
like there's a
getting crucial
huge point of
objectives. He's right.
pressure and a huge point of momentum coming from
But also, he's still by himself. Death Prophet is still by himself. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing. Obviously, if you stick around near a tower, literally on top of the tower, actually, to be very realistic, he was on top of the tower for like 20 seconds. Like, hold on. Was it more than 20 seconds?
careful. See what they're doing. Okay, I'm just going to TP mid and release some pressure again.
So if I like the 14,
Death Prophet's just running at me.
The 14 on a video clip.
These are the
I
type of situations that can get really annoying as a carry, but if you can help, it's a big deal that you keep these towers alive. Because even though the opponent's being very aggressive on 2 different lanes, they're not getting...
And then Death Prophet still wants to go and dive in. That is not very likely by a 5k MMR player. I don't see that personally. I don't really see that. I could see Death Prophet going top. Like, this is 5k bracket here. It's not 1k. And a lot of even 2k MMR players are really good these days. So I don't know. I don't know what
any crucial
I don't know what
objectives.
kind of new BSJ is up against.
And I've just seen like there's a huge point of pressure and a huge point of momentum coming from our mid lane. And SF being one of the few carries that can actually take down Death Prophet. And I saw a bunch of heroes on the enemy team show in the bottom lane as well as show in the top lane. I'm like, this guy just can't be getting away with this when we're also getting pressured in the other 2 lanes. Like my CM's dying top, my Axe is getting ran at bottom. And we're going to lose mid tower. Like, we just can't be allowing that to happen if we're a hero that can do something about it.
And stuff
so
like
I'm checking Shadow Shaman levels.
And to like maximize each hero's
and I'm
potential.
thinking, well, this Death Prophet might just come back mid. So why not be ready to kill him again? I can't go back top because I can't lane there by myself. I can just jungle off map, which is what I'm going to do.
9k MMR.
And I'm like, oh,
still learning.
Death Prophet's back for more. Let's get him. We have 3 heroes here.
And freaking 3k MMR would sit there and be able to tell you a hell of a lot more about the game than BSJ, even though he was a 9k MMR. Like, he just got...
I'm sure if you asked this Death Prophet how he felt about his game after these plays, you'd get a good idea of how impactful these types of moves are. And he dies a 3rd time, or second time.
Yeah, because it's 3 against 1 Death Prophet, just like...
So we're forcing a lot of reactions. We're really alleviating a lot of the pressure in the game. We have 2 very greedy cores,
really
Invoker and Axe. I'm like, oh, another tower defend. Wait, okay, I'm not going to make that same mistake and TB to a bunch of Shadow Shaman wards. I didn't realize there were Shadow Shaman wards when I queued up that TB. I'm literally like trying to put out so many fires in this game, and part of why I picked SF
he just soloed
is because I saw the lack of mid-game damage. And I also factored in that my teammates were 700 MMR lower average than the opponent, and we just needed to get past the laning phase. I did factor that into my
But you had a really easy game, though.
In terms of how I was going to play this game, and, you know, the approach that I would take to, like, the early to mid-game portion.
That's, like, implying
So I see a big fight going on bottom. That means I'm going to farm my way towards another lane. But oftentimes you want to do the other side lane because it opens up the map the most.
It was clearly enough.
So I'm working my way there.
And your team is owning
without you. If the lane was like pushing into me, then I would have gone and farmed it immediately. But since it's not pushing into me, I'm just going to farm my way there.
Literally nothing. You didn't even get an objective.
Because the second we show themselves, that kind of like encourages people to come gank us. So we want to show ourselves when we're going to then farm backwards.
Death Prophet twice.
That's what we're doing here. We show ourselves
to farm.
We finish this camp.
So literally,
unless there's another fight going on, which there is,
it's literally
then we would farm backwards from here. But we're like, okay, there's another fight going on mid. I'm now going to go forwards.
He doesn't have a TP.
The type of decisions we're thinking about.
Very noob of him. He doesn't have a TP.
Just creating pressure on the lane as much as we can. Missing CS, lol.
He can't even tell his team.
I'm a ranged hero by myself on the map.
Without implying
all I'm going to do is push in the lane and be a little bit of a chicken, as you heard with that voice line.
You don't have a TP.
Just force them to come to that lane and back.
Which will encourage
in this case, it's very different than before because Death Prophet has a bunch of heroes with him. So this is an important moment to pause. Because when you're playing carry, this actually applies to every role. One of the most important map awarenesses to have when people talk about map awareness as a whole, and we talk about like checking the minimap and all this kind of stuff, is that when the opponent shows a lot of heroes in one area, I call this the ever-expanding circles
what exactly is happening.
Approach to map awareness. So right now, if we look at the minimap, the enemy is showing pretty much all of their heroes in the mid lane. So why is that relevant to us exactly? So what's going to happen here is they're going to go off map right now, right? Death Prophet's about to leave. He goes off map right now. So whatever expanding circles means is that when the opponent was last showing, they
because
can
nothing's
now
going
be
to
as
happen,
far off the map
or they're just
for
gonna
how
pick
long
off real
they've been
quick on you
missing.
guys, and
So
then
we
just
see
run
that
away,
like
and
Disruptor
it'll look
Shaman
really awkward.
went off map about 5 seconds ago. So they could be like right here.
Sure.
Right?
Well,
And they could also
maybe
be like
up there.
anywhere in this circle because that's how far they can travel in 5 seconds.
Well, sure.
So as time goes on,
Why not?
they're
I
going
was
to
thinking
keep being able
his
to
jungle,
possibly be further along.
because Shadow
I am
King
going
was
to be
just
making
by
an
himself
entire
top.
video on this subject. So what you can do is get a sense that people are not only going to
That's
be
just
within
an
that
idea.
circle,
A
but they're
good,
likely going to be
IMR
on the edge of that
play
circle.
idea to go
And
top
so I see
and kill
that
the
they're
safe
gone.
laner.
I'm farming ancients. I have a feeling
Obviously,
that
the
they
enemy
might be
team
coming,
to
right?
them
And
isn't farming, because
I'm
they're
like, huh.
freaking
I'm
middle. like whatever. So if you're the alliance on this team, right? Like if you're on this team, and you just saw the entire enemy team just like hugging the tower, right? Because he's putting pressure on it, and you saw this safe laner up here by himself, and you know he's by himself because this guy showed down here too. You could just go top. Like, well, with your team. Or not even necessarily like with your team, but like just with the Ursa. Like tell the Ursa, hey, go ahead and run up there. We just saw the Shadow Fiend. We literally saw him go up to fight the camp right after, even like I'll say like as he was taking out the creep camp, or creep, not creep camp, creep lane. To go straight to the creep camp. And the Ursa could have just, and then Death Prophet went up there. Would have been a very easy kill. And the silence lasts forever, so there's literally no way that he would have gone out. Actually, no way. He would have died way too quickly for him to TP out. Which, by the way, if you get ganked like that and you try to TP out, it's never a good thing. It's never a good thing. You'll more than likely die too fast, and then your TP's on cooldown by the time you respawn if you die, and then if you don't die, you're stuck in a fountain for like 15 seconds trying to heal, which is supposed to be your respawn time anyways, and then, it's still on cooldown, so it's almost more worth it to just die anyways. Or better yet, just not be up here when you know if they just, you don't see them here. And plus all these camps, I just feel like there's so much bonus the enemy team gets from being right here. There's just so many bonuses, so many camps. And then, like, if anyone were to, like, try to ward up here, because they're worried about someone being there, the enemy team could just get a free kill. I just feel like there's so many things that they could do if they came up here. But, not...
in a scan. And then it's red.
Maybe it's
because
just
that's
me.
where they would be based on the
like
time
really
that
good
they've
idea.
been gone.
I feel like a lot of high MMR players.
I'm just going to TP out before I finish this
I
camp.
want to say, I say
and
high MMR,
let's just quickly show you the opponent's perspective.
Is what I'm talking about. Like in the bracket that he's in right now, that like playing with.
And that's depressing. Before I continue, I've got one question for you guys watching. Based on the time that they've been gone.
They actually did. They actually did go top.
I'm just going to TP out before I finish this camp. And let's just quickly show you the opponent's perspective.
See? They did go top. I called that. I called it. I freaking called it. But here's the thing though. That disruptor needed.
And that's.
Wait, they had vision on him the whole time?
Lo and behold.
Wait.
I'm just going to TP out before I finish this camp.
But Disruptor ran back with glimpse?
Let's just quickly show you the opponent's perspective.
Did I see that? He had glimpse. Yeah, he sees him. We clearly sees him on the minimap. And he ran back. No. Never do that. You're not even worried about dying. Like, trust me, you're not. There's no way Shadow Fiend can kill this Disruptor, even if he tried, like, even if he had a Force Staff and tried to, like, right-click the Disruptor. That can't happen, because A, he has his ult, and then B, also, his team will just shut him down so quickly. And the Disruptor would have been just fine.
And And that's
I
depressing.
wish he would have just hovered
Before I
over that,
continue,
because I think
I've
it's
got
like a
one
1200
question for you
plus
guys
range at that
watching.
point.
Would you like to play
And he
in
was
these
like
games with me?
1600 or so,
please just give
not
me
even
20
far
seconds of
away.
your time. This series is all about education and ethical
If
smurfing.
Disruptor would have
And
just kept
all
on
the
going
players
up
in these
instead of
games
running
are
back, would have definitely
volunteers
glimpsed
from
him.
my community willingly getting smurfed on. To get in on the action, it's easy. All you got to do is go to the description below and click Join the Dota Dojo, my absolutely free Discord community. Once you're there, scroll down to the BSJ content section, click on the Join Educational Smurf channel, and react to the message. That's it. You're done. You're registered for all future educational Smurf lobbies. Now, let's get back to the video. These type of map awareness plays are absolutely crucial to like making a big difference between being like a 5-6k MMR carry player and being like a higher immortal player. Honestly, if they were ultra fast from smoking from mid, that might have gotten me killed. Like maybe like 12k players smoking there would have killed me.
It doesn't take a 12k MMR player to know that your freaking glimpse and your ultimate is really, really good 12 minutes into the game. It doesn't take 12k MMR to realize that. 1k MMR can realize that. Like, they're just bad. You're up against really
a lot of times you'll see streamers talking about how like the play was good 3 seconds ago, but it's not good now. And that just is one example of how big of a deal it can make to have things be even a second slower. And that scan is crucial because we don't know which direction they went, and we want to know which direction they went. We want to at least check. So if they went towards me, that's where they would be. So the scan is amazing for that. Ever expanding circles plus scan
to like
equals
farm or whatever. He used a scan just to see.
So we know that they're all around top for the most part.
Or if they're trying to go bomb and make a play or whatever.
Perfectly fine to be farming the ancients
It's just so that we know.
Then we see them flowing back towards mid. I call this flowing
exactly what he said.
because you can kind of just envision the way the opponent's moving on the map. They went from here to here to here, and now I'm like, okay, this must be open now. And this is like another form of map awareness. My team's doing a little bit of feed action here.
Yeah, but I also don't like
a little bit of feed action. They, you know, they were told it's too easy, BSJ. Let's just make sure we make it a little bit harder for you.
Because
but Spearbreaker ends up getting away, and I'm going to wait as long as possible to kill the creep.
They wouldn't have been able to just TP in and stop you.
Making sure we push waves every time that we see something happening on the map. A lot of carry players will just sit off map hitting neutrals despite anything that they see in the game. I would be off map right now if I didn't know exactly where they were, but I saw them bottom, so I know that they can't be anywhere else. In the ever-expanding circles, we see them again mid, right? So we're going to reinitiate this process. We see them mid. They were grouped up. Ever-expanding circles. They were just grouped up. Could be here, could be here, could be here. They're closing in on us, right?
No, they're not, because
so what do?
You just saw them.
I'm like, huh, I haven't seen the people that just showed...
We just saw Phoenix down here. Now, I believe... Yeah, or sis right here. I saw a guy down here. I don't...
Mid, and I scanned again.
They're not there, BSJ. They're not there. And best case scenario, if it did blink red, that's because Ursa ran up there to go get a jungle.
I see Ursa running at me aggressive.
They're not running at you, I promise.
I don't have the scan that hit, because my scan did not hit. I'm seeing a level 10 Ursa with only Battle Fury.
So they did decide to smoke up there. That is really weird, though. But my point is that they weren't going to get him. Like, not anytime soon. But I also figured, because purple's down here.
Farm up aggressively on the map. For me, people 90% of the time are not bluffing, guys. They're not bluffing. I'm like, okay, this Ursa is playing really aggressive up on the map, so I'm just going to TP away. And...
he called that right.
You know, the first one was not the pressing enough.
Okay. But that's not usually the case.
They are going to...
People usually don't... Like if you see one guy bottom, who isn't your main carry, right? Like, it's an offlaner. And we all know an offlaner role is to make plays. That is literally their biggest thing. Both the mid player and the offlaner, they're meant to be strong early so that they can shut people down and make space for the safe laner. But we saw the offlaner by himself bottom. So to me, that means they're not trying to make a play, or if they are, I think, because this is what usually happens, the mid laner is going to dive in way too soon. So even if he were to, let's say, go down here, which is, to be honest, that's what I would have done, came down here, I would have saw a Death Prophet, and a Disruptor would have been too far back to be able to glimpse at that time. I really wish we could see them a little better than.
I'm seeing a level 10 Ursa.
Because Disruptor, for some reason, he likes to stay at the very back. But like even then, like even if that wasn't the case, because Death Prophet is up here, I'm pretty sure Death Prophet probably went like that. Pretty sure. But like, let's say that isn't the case, and he didn't do that, then he wouldn't have saw BSJ at all, and he would have just farmed this for free, and the enemy team would have just went up here for no reason. So really, that going up there actually messed BSJ up. He should have just went over here. He would have been totally fine. Death Prophet saw him, okay, TP out. Easy day. Would have been very easy. Disruptor would have been able to glimpse him. They would have been too far away. Because they were up here. Right? And BSJ would have been easy like around here.
So with only Battle Fury, farm up aggressively on the map. For me, people 90% of the time are not bluffing, guys. They're not bluffing.
I kind of wish
I'm like, okay, this Ursa is playing really aggressive up on the map, so I'm just going to TP away.
From like 15 seconds before now, just so I could see,
if the first one was not depressing enough.
But even without seeing exactly what happened. Like I said, like it doesn't matter what scenario you had. It doesn't matter if Death Power went like this or like this. BSJ would have been just fine. But if they all went like this, they would have saw BSJ, because they're not even going over here. They're literally checking up here. You would have been just fine farming over here and then farming towards your team, which is literally what he teaches. That's literally what he always says. Always farm towards your team when you think something is about to happen. When you think a play is about to be made. We just saw Phoenix by himself down here, and now your teammate is down here by himself.
These are the ways that you...
And we have no vision on him. He has no idea. He actually doesn't... He's not entirely sure where they're at right now. He knows where maybe one or two are. He knows that someone, like a group, tried to make a play, but doesn't know how big that group is. So the Phoenix could have another person down with them to go kill whoever that's down here. Who is that? Invoker or Crystal Main? Crystal Main. No? No, Crystal Main. He's up here. X.
Win plays. Map awareness, adjusting your farm according to when you saw heroes.
Really good.
A lot of times we have to teach you guys to farm faster when you're below 4 or 5k MMR. In this case, there's 6k MMR, 5k MMR, and 4k MMR players. The way you go higher from 4k, 5k, 6k is these adjustments in the game. A lot of these MMR...
But yeah, now he knows that their whole team is probably up here. He knows that.
Players are very rigid in the way that they think, but they're very optimal at that rigidity. But being able to adjust to what's going on...
If it happens to not be true, it's actually a good thing to think that their entire team is probably up here. Because why are they not getting this right here? And why is no one fucking with the axe? The axe doesn't do jack shit at this time. Like, at all. You're not doing anything. Just don't stand next to your creeps. That's it. And you're good. That way it can't just blink and aggro you, because it won't do anything anyways if you're not near your creeps. So he can't counter helix you to death.
The game
Would've been
is
just
essential. So in this case, I'm thinking I'm pretty strong,
So-
and the opponent, we knew they were top,
if
and I'm
they're all
like, we're
top,
strong.
that's
We have
fine.
Axe with a blade mail.
Oh no. Oh wait, and then Axe blinked over there. That was bad.
He can TP in. I'm really strong as an SF. I do a lot of damage at this
Whoa,
stage of the game.
Phoenix. See, Phoenix is just a really bad player. They're up against really bad teammates. Like, obviously, like, he didn't need to do that at all. He wasn't even being attacked quite yet. He wasn't. He was.
And I'm like, we're strong. We
Phoenix
have
is fine.
Axe with a blade mail.
He would have
can
been fucked about a
TP
second
in.
from now.
I'm
but-
really strong as
See, if Phoenix had like a third of his health, he still had like a third of his health. They could have just used a flame spirit and use it on him, use it on whoever, you know. He had plenty of time, and plus we all know Shadowfield's gonna use Mask of Madness. But we all know this because obviously the Phoenix is going to want to use the egg. But the Phoenix can lower his attack speed like 150. Mask of Madness increases your attack speed like 120. So his Shadow Fiend would have attacked like once a second, and the egg lasts like 3 seconds. And we all know that they want to kill this Death Prophet as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. So they're gonna be like, fuck the egg. Like, who cares? So naturally, they wouldn't have been able to kill the egg at all. There would have been no way. If he just used Flame Spirit on the Shadow Fiend, which he gets tons of spirits. So there's no reason for him not to have it like still on him. There's no reason for him not to use it and then still not like have enough Flame Spirits on him. You know, even if he did like activate Flame Spirits early, he still would have enough Flame Spirits. Because it lasts for like 5 seconds or some shit. It lasts for a good while. So you really don't really need to use that much. And plus you want to wait for their big guys. Like, their only good right clicker is Spirit Breaker and Shadow Fiend. That's it. You might use the Spirit on the Invoker. Like, that's it. Counter Helix is a passive. It has nothing to do with attack speed. So it's essentially just an ability. So it would have done anything if you use it on the Axe. In terms of a battle, one-on-one, yeah, it's because it's a lot of damage. But in like a big battle like this, I mean, you know something big's gonna happen. You're not just gonna go and use an egg right away. He's got so many good abilities.
an SF.
To use.
I do a lot of damage at this stage of the game.
Oh my
so
god!
we know where they are. Let's take a smoke. I call
Crystal
this.
Man has like
and
no
it's pretty
attack
much just
speed
free
either.
pickings for us.
Would not have been able. That would have not worked out at all.
And these little plays where you dodge.
Would have been no way they would have killed that stupid Death Prophet either, because it led to that. Literally led to that. Would have been no way.
their smokes, and then you know where they are, and then you're like, guys, let's go kill them because I'm strong. Absolute, like,
No
breaking open the game, right? So, they're all respawning. We're just going to farm our way up while they're dead.
Because he killed the egg in time.
I'm now thinking, like, get to my crucial timings. I really like Manta against pretty much all of their heroes. Ursa doesn't become a problem until later. He kind of had a rough start, so I'm not concerned about, like, rushing a Hurricane Pike or anything like that. Hurricane Pike's also not that great against heroes like Disruptor because they just pull you back. So it's, like, hard to kite those types of heroes. Like, any hero that's hard to kite, I don't like Hurricane Pike against. So, just finishing up the Manta. I see them playing around mid again.
That's what he was saying.
They're taking another fight. You know, in this case, I'm going to be aggressive on the Phoenix because I see there's a fight going on mid. But I don't really want to be at the fight because I don't have my item yet.
Yeah, but you're
So we're just going to clear this
actually
as fast
aggressive.
as we can.
Because if you were, you would have been in his face.
And we're going to initiate farming our way backwards.
I mean,
We don't really have a lot of
I'm
information right
saying he
now,
could have
and
been
whenever you
more
don't have a lot of
aggressive
information,
because he
it's
saw
just
a
a really
5-minute.
safe bet to farm your way backwards. But then we saw Ursa bottom and Shadow Shaman mid, and it's like, okay, let's go quickly take this
Instead, he
wave.
let the
If I didn't
things get
see
some
that
last
information and I didn't have a Crystal Maiden next to me, I would have just kept farming backwards. But these little subtle, like, oh, I see enough information to advance. Oh, I don't see enough information. I'm going to retreat. If you add this up over time, that's how you die to ganks a lot less. Yeah, I kind of showed you some flashy smoke gank dodges, but it's much more important to generally go, based on how much information I have, I farm backwards. Based on how much information I have, I farm forwards. So in this case, I'm just farming backwards, waiting for the next set of camps to respawn. I scan again, because I don't know where they are. Same idea. Now I feel safe to stay here. I see Phoenix on the map now. If that scan didn't hit, I would have left. But now I'm like, oh, they're roshing. That's what they're doing. So then I call to my team, hey guys, we're really strong. We can fight them afterwards. They're using Exorcism. They're taking damage to Roche. Let's get them. So I call for that.
And then your team
collapses.
actually
If my team didn't
shows. You know how many times I would ask my team to go and do something, and then it literally either tilts them because it contradicts what they want to do, or they just don't feel like it because they're just what do you call it? Mentally AFK, essentially. A lot of people that play this game is mentally AFK.
Go up, I would have just let it go and push top. But now we're going to flank from behind, as we love to do on high damage dealers. Kill the support first. Sadly, we missed twice in a row.
Yeah, at least twice.
And this Ursa is going to go bye-bye.
If the Ursa add ult, though,
Sorry, that felt really good during the game.
that would have been fine.
SF, if he's allowed to ult from on top of you with
And the
Aegis, it's
Ursa
very
would have been right on
powerful.
top of the Shadow Fiend, because Shadow Fiend plays himself on top of Ursa.
So I think overall I kind of
I
did
don't
just
think that
outfight
should
them
have
here.
worked.
That Shaman almost got his disables off on me, so it was also very close. But this is like a pretty demoralizing teamfight loss for them for sure, because a lot of little things, went the other direction. I love Manta against Shadow Shaman because you kill his wards like this, extra gold.
Also notice.
And we're going to go BKB next.
Excuse me, 5k ahead.
So we're
6K
just dealing
ahead.
with our problems one stage at a time. The Manta
And it
helps
looks
us
like
clear
they've been
waves,
owning.
helps
It's
us
actually
deal
13
Phoenix
to 21.
spells, Death Prophet spells, Shadow Shaman spells. I really love Manta
literally, if
against
Shadow
his
Fiend
wards
is
as well as his
somewhere, his
shackle.
team dies.
Any heavy single
increases
target damage
Shadow
and
Fiend's
stun
chances of
heroes,
being
Manta's really
listened,
nice
but
against.
not necessarily.
But now I'm
because
thinking like every problem
his
is
team's
addressed
excuse
except
could be
for
like, well, you're never here whenever we're all dying. I hear that a lot. Like I could be this. I could be this right here. And making plays that BSJ is doing, keeping out just in time and stuff like that. And then for some reason, my team wants to be like, well, you're never here whenever we get in fights. And I'm like, what do you mean? Every time I'm there, we own and all that. And they're like, exactly. So why aren't you here whenever we're owning? And like they create like this false illusion of like, oh, I should have sacrificed my farm, even though I'm position 1, just to go, and maybe we might make a play, hopefully. So many people like to think that, like, during the game, and it just makes them not want to listen to people. Especially if they're like this, and then your team ends up dying. Let's say, like, 2 or 3 of your teammates die bottom because they didn't feel like TPing there. And then they want to, like, blame it on you.
Ursa if I buy a BKB.
I really...
So, and because Ursa's
really
not
don't like
super
that.
farmed, I elect to go for the
Very
BKB.
common for them to do that.
But I'm not like trying to pressure this tower or anything.
Well,
I'm
as you can
communicating
see,
to my
that's
team.
not
I'm
his
just saying,
team,
hey
though.
guys, I'm farming
That's
my
my
items.
argument. That's literally not his
But
team. His
we
team
also
is
have the Tormentor up.
actually
And if you're
playing.
ever near the
That they're
Tormentor
not
with your
good,
farm, it's
obviously,
always
but at
ideal
least
to
they're
take it.
playing Dota. This is actually
So this was
looks like
more of an
a regular game
opportunistic
of
Tormentor.
Dota.
We just happened
In
to
all
kind of be
honesty, it looks
here.
like a normal game of Dota.
I did not plan
Except
this,
you
to be
just get a-
honest.
you have a
But
really
when
good
we saw it, it's like,
Shadow
oh, it's
Fiend,
20
but
minutes. Play
Usually,
for it.
usually you have like a good teammate or two.
I think generally in
team.
pubs, it's not
Usually,
good to
one
go
person.
super far out of your way to get the Tormentor, but if you can find yourself
assuming you're
farming
not
there
a
without
really good
dying
player. If
beforehand,
you're,
it's like super
average or
ideal.
Slightly above average.
So I communicated to my team here, hey
Then you
guys, you're
probably
on your
have, like, one
own.
good
I'm
teammate
not
on your
fighting,
team.
I'm farming my
Then the
BKB.
rest is trash.
So
But if
in
you're
these spots
really
as like
good
a
at
pup
this
teammate,
game,
it's just
basically
whatever you
your
guys may
whole
do.
team is
In this case, it worked
trash,
out really
like,
well. We are
every
up by
single
7K
game.
before that.
It's very annoying.
And a lot of things are going to be pretty smooth from here. But I want you guys to see, like, the idea of how you solo carry these games.
Yep. The idea of solo carrying is to farm, and only TPN when the enemy team is at the tower, because then you won't be able to get there in time. Or if you clearly see that your teammates is running back while the enemy team is running forward, you could think of that as like a reason for you to TP down here and then like circle around and then join your team like in the flank. Like you could be flanking and then you could join your team that way. But like right now, if the enemy team grouped up and decided to go down here, even as 3 guys, I think it would work out. To be honest, like for them, I think it would work out. And then it would also cause like a mental attack, a mental state attack on your own team whenever they die down here, to give them another excuse to not listen to their position one that's like this, because someone that's like this for some reason isn't joining the fight down here. So if these guys die, they're gonna blame this guy right here, even though he's actually making the right move.
When you have this
These guys
AK
should
net
back
worth
up.
lead. Because a lot of times you're like, okay, the Smurf
They
has
should
an
actually
AK net
take
worth
the
lead, the
fucking
game's
game, to
over
be
now.
honest.
But a lot of times
But
I
then
also
again,
coach
Phoenix
people who are in the
just showed.
spot and they'll lose the game,
they'll be fine.
you know, 20, 25% of the time. Maybe even like 30, 40% of the time. Regardless, coach people who are in the spot and they'll, in this case, it worked out really well. We are up by 7K before that.
Sorry, I have to go see what was BSJ saying.
And a lot of things are going to be pretty smooth from here. But I want you guys to see, like, the idea of how you solo carry these games when you have this AK net worth lead. Because a lot of times you're like, okay, the Smurf has an AK net worth lead, the game's over now. But a lot of times I also coach people who are in the spot and they'll lose the game, you know, 20, 25% of the time. Maybe even like 30, 40% of the time. Regardless, they're losing the game more often than they should be numerically, right? So how do we secure this game? How do we close it off? And that's by hitting the crucial item timings that keep us alive for BKB now. And then once we have BKB, there's only one threat left, right? All of these items are going to be defensive in order to help us not feed away this lead. So we're using our Manta to continuously clear waves. And then we're using our immense jungle speed to keep accelerating our farm. This is the reason why Manta...
Like right now, still 2 of his teammates are down there. Dude, if just 3 of these guys, if just a mid and the off lane wanted to do anything with the Shadow Shaman, even without the Disruptor, if for some reason support didn't feel like supporting, still, they would own these guys down here. Any 4K MMR knows this. This is between 4 and 5K. 4 and 5K.
Is so
like
strong,
what?
right? But then, like I said, there's only one threat left, and that's the Ursa. So I go for the item that is best for me, that also protects me against Ursa. So it's like, yes, Hurricane Pike is theoretically nicer, but I mentioned earlier on in the game, I need to do a bunch of damage. I don't need to kite them. So I'm going to go for the butterfly.
But like in games like this, it's mainly about
in this case,
like if
I see an opportunity to connect with my team. I want to pause here and say that
on whatever side
when you're strong and you've hit your timings, there's like a puzzle piece equation of how do I
And what I mean by that is, like right now, Shadow Fiend's 10-1. I guarantee you most 4 to 5K and more players, the way the game was playing, like I don't think they'd be able to pull off what he just pulled off. That's very unique, like what he just pulled off. That's crazy. But BSJ has also been farming alone through like 90% of this game. And the only fights that he's been into is whenever the enemy team dives a tower. That's it. That's literally the only fights he's been in. That's it. So just imagine if the enemy team didn't actually dive towers. They just saw these guys down here. Oh, I'm just going to kill them. Run away. BSJ would lose 100% chance because he is not down there ever. He is just focusing on his own game, which is technically the right thing to do as a position 1. But at the same time, though, sometimes if your team wants to make a play and you know you're really strong, like, there's no reason why they couldn't take this tower. There's no reason. No reason at all.
To my
to
team,
a
because
4K,
at this
5K,
point, I
there's
haven't
no
really been
reason why they
saying,
wouldn't.
let's go do anything.
I don't think I've ever been
So what
in a
I was
game
doing this
where
whole
if the
time
enemy
as I
team was this
rewind,
far ahead, especially with a 10-1 guy, there's just no way that they didn't take out a tier 2.
look at the map right now. There's like
no
5
way,
people in 5
let alone they still have a tier 1.
different areas.
Is it 2 tier 1s?
I'm just waiting
yeah, 2
to
tier
see
1s, no way. There's
for
no
somewhere that
way
all of my teammates
the
are
enemy team would have
together
2
that
tier
I can
1s
be with
if you're
them.
a 10-1
So I'm like, oh,
for
3 people
Phoenix
bottom. I see Invoker mid.
No way.
Let's group bottom
Clearly,
and
you're not
smoke to mid.
focusing objectives.
Because I'm just trying
You're
to
just
get 5
farming,
heroes together.
which makes your
and you can
teammates
direct
do
this
weird
stuff.
things.
And if people don't listen, you just go back to.
And it makes it real easy for these guys to just, just kill your team. It makes it real easy because they got all the space in the world. They can TP right next to your teammates because they have tier 1s. That's my argument. It's just so easy to defeat BSJ's team right now.
Farming. But obviously, these are people who know it's me, so they're going to listen to me.
They're mentally
it is like one of the common
that is how
criticisms you guys give of these educational
nothing
Smurf
to do with
lobbies.
how good he
But I
is.
called for the
He
smoke to go
hasn't been
mid.
playing
All we're
the
trying to
game.
do is combine.
Unless the enemy team actually goes to the tower. That's the only time that he's actually helping his teammates. If the enemy team is here, or back when they dove the tier 1 tower, be right here. And then I think at one point, did he ever go there? I don't think so. I think he went there and then accomplished nothing, maybe? Not sure. But
Find 5 heroes. I'm going to let my axe go first.
He usually waits. He always waits, I should say.
I mean, Spearbreaker. We get the Disruptor immediately. So one thing people do that I've noticed when I coach.
So what happened? I already know what happened. The Shadow Shaman wanted Death Prophet to go on the Invoker. And the Disruptor got scared and ran back. Because the Disruptor is also a really, really bad player who doesn't understand that he is so useful. He could have just ulted, E'd the kinetic field, E'd the Disruptor, the Invoker, and then he could have just placed a sentry if he wanted to, or Dust, which I guarantee the Shadow Shaman would be more than happy to do himself because I think he's the MVP on the Alliance side, personally. And they would have easily gotten the kill on the Invoker, which, by the way, the Invoker did most of the damage so far. BSJ barely did anything. And, barely, he didn't do anything.
We'll get the Disruptor.
If this guy wasn't a bitch, got up here, got the Invoker, Shadow Fiend could not have been able to right-click him. Could not. Would have been nothing. And Shadow Shaman was, he was in a position where they could just kill the Invoker. They just needed someone to help fight them. And Death Prophet was somewhere, just TP'd in to wherever he was.
So one thing people do that I've noticed when I coach is that they get their strong items. They think they're way stronger than the opponent because they are. They have like an AK net worth lead. They finish their BKB. And then they just kind of half-ass make a move. They just walk at a tower or say, let's just run at them. But
that's what you did, though. You just ran at them. Is that not what you did?
I mean, Spear...
Literally, Spirit Breaker is charging.
So they're going to listen to me. It is
Look,
one of the...
You're running at them. Is this not running at them? Is this not? You got no information. You see the Phoenix up here. You see Shadow Shaman just pushing stuff, farming because no one else is farming this for some reason. Someone's got to do it. Ideally, you don't want the support doing it, but support has to because no one else is. So actually, it'd be a better support doing what he's doing. And then once he gets a lot of money, buy whatever he needs to further support his team, who clearly isn't playing the game. Like, they're mentally AFK. They're clearly mentally
criticisms
AFK.
you guys give of these
Clearly.
educational Smurf lobbies. But I called for the smoke to go mid. All we're trying to do...
Calling for smoke to go mid very randomly. He decided to randomly say it's at 22 minutes into the game. No tier 2s destroyed. And also, I gotta know, both tier 1s are up. This is a random play.
is combine 5 heroes. I'm going to let my...
100%. There is no reason why they want to get this. There's also... there's also creeps up by a tier 2. Wouldn't you just rather get the tier 2? Hello?
Max go first.
This is a random play.
I mean, Spear...
There's no reason why Disruptor is down here when he had no vision of anything at all. At all. He had no vision of literally anything, but for some reason he's running in the trees.
Trigger. We'll get the Disruptor immediately.
There's no reason for that at all. It was
so one thing people do that I've noticed when I coach
the stupid
is that they get their strong items, they think they're way stronger than the opponent because they are. They have like an AK network lead, they finish their BKB. And then they just kind of like half-ass make a move. They just like walk at a tower or say, let's just run at them.
In case
but there's a lot more to it than that, right? In this case, I'm like, how do we get 5 heroes together and collapse on them in a surprise manner?
I would have been like, okay, don't mind if we just get a free kill. You know?
And that's why we just wipe them for free, right?
There's
a big difference there.
Literally...
We're going to turn this into a tower. We're checking the other lanes. Other lanes are absolutely essential whenever you take towers. We're not trying to force this into a high ground. We're just trying to get as many towers as we can before we're giving up too much lane pressure. So if you look at top, it's not at our tier 2 just yet.
5, and his intention isn't to support.
We're taking our sweet time. We're pushing the next tier 2, and I said to my teammate, hey, Spearbreaker, you're a global hero. Can you go push top? And he does go push it, fortunately. And SF, we love having objective takers. Imagine if we had not picked an objective taker in this game. You get 2 kills, and what do you get from it?
Let's see, 29-42? I swear they were also 4K.
I'm seeing a significant lack of items. I've been really liking.
Yeah, 4,700, 5,500. So it is 4K, and these guys are 5K. So I'm not wrong.
Scan didn't hit, I would have left. But now I'm like, oh, okay, the Smurf has an AK now. People are not on the same page. That's an evidence you want to be farming away from where you last saw the opponent. So we
naturally, because you're as any position, you want to be able to farm safely. Right now, you see them down here taking your tower for free. I actually want to see what happens.
The map away from the opponent. Confusion. Get to my team. We can just leave, guys. So, I walk away. And sad for them, they're smoked up, sitting behind their tier 2 tower as a group, and we're just going to walk away. So in this case...
I don't like what BSJ is doing right now, because... You see, he's in a position where he can't help his team. And he makes videos all the time where you should farm towards your team. And so the reason why you would is so that whenever your team gets jumped, you're right there. And then you can just instantly punish as an 11-1. But he can't instantly punish because he's down here. Wanting to get...
My Invoker gets caught on the way out. So I said to my team, if they overchase, we can fight. So I'm thinking that my Axe and CM are going to be helping me at this moment.
No, because their Shadow Shaman is a beast. And we've been seeing him. He farms by himself sometimes in a lane, not jungling, but like laning, because no one else is. So naturally, he's probably going to buy a blink because, you know, he's a good shaman. Good shaman buys a blink.
When I realized that my Axe is no longer here, so I'm like, ah, shit, I just have to run away. So there's these moments where there's a bit of
You
like
didn't need to use
discombobulation, confusion,
because clearly
people are not
they
on the
were
same
attacking
page.
your invoker.
That's inevitable to happen. Unless you're a professionally coordinated team,
So now
this
if
is
the
inevitable
enemy
to
team-
happen.
If the enemy team really wanted to, they could do anything they want right now. Anything they want. And if your teammates decide to buy back, it'll be a throw because the BKB is on cooldown. He can't do anything. He wasted it. It did nothing. It doesn't even do anything against an Ursa. Literally, Ursa has no magic damage. Like, I don't even count. Like, who cares about his Q? It's meant for the slow so that you keep right-clicking.
So as long as we make sure we
No
played it
magic
safe
damage,
and got
man.
out, like we
And
lost 2
you clearly
heroes.
saw him attacking the Invoker. Like, clearly, their team was attacking the Invoker. You didn't need to use BKB. You weren't the one in danger at all. But also, you couldn't just use this because Ursa has ult.
Ideal,
So, yeah, you
but
did
then
have
we're
to
just
run.
gonna like continue
But
farming the map away from
you
the
weren't,
opponent,
like,
right? We saw them all bottom, we
use this
TP
in
mid
danger.
and farm
You were
our way to
just-
top.
Use this and run away. in danger.
So I talk to people
That's it.
about when
That's all
you
you had to
TP, when you have your farming patterns, you want to be farming away from where you last saw the opponent. So we last saw them here, so I TP'd here and went like this, right? That is effectively away from where I last saw them. Now, it's really important to note that at any moment here, I could be fearful of them going through the portal. So if I see them missing for too long, then I'm going to treat
Yep.
the portal as a threat as well.
Yeah, but it's also, we just saw a
But
fourth
they're
guy
all showing
bottom.
bottom. Something
So
I've
clearly
noticed when
they're not
people are
thinking
losing
about
to
going
you
to
is
the
that they
portal.
overgroup as 5.
They're a little
They either
smarter
like
than that.
overly split up
They
or
wanna
they
kill the
overly group
tower.
as 5. I feel like
makes
it's more
sense.
common mistake that
The
when you're
disruptor
ahead, you
got it
overly
because
split up,
his
and when
team
you're
is so
behind,
freaking
you
bad.
overly group up as 5.
And the Ursa decided to TP middle. Was it TP or ran? He probably ran. Actually, probably ran. But still, like, clearly they're up against really bad players. Up against 5500 MMR, but like, even AK MMR could play this bad. You know, and, like, MMR doesn't really mean anything when it comes
Usually
to
when you're
the
behind, you
actual
want to
gameplay.
separate, and when you're ahead,
It's
you
more
want
like
to
the odds of
group
your
up
team
and capitalize
playing
on
well
it.
increases if
But so,
they're a higher MMR.
do the whole
That's
Manta
it.
push
But
down
they
the
can still play
wave,
just as bad as a 1K
initiate the
MMR
farm
player.
backward sequence, communicating to my team, hey guys, I'm waiting for my
I've
butterfly.
also seen enough BSJ streams and a bunch of high MMR streams, not just BSJ, right? But I've seen so many high immortals, Miracle playing, freaking Crit, all kinds of people, man. So many people.
It's always really
And-
important that if you're waiting
That used to be most of my gameplay in this game, was just watching really good players play. And they would have games where the enemy team is playing like this, but in basically one of the highest brackets in Dota. And Immortal, but like one of the highest in MMR. I mean, like if like when Miracle was when the highest MMR was 12K, and Miracle was at 11K. You know, and I'd watch his games, and then I'd see his team or the enemy team could be either or. That they'd play so bad for some reason, and it would look like this, where like the position 1 doesn't want to get a tower, your offlaner doesn't feel like making any plays, your support doesn't feel like playing with the team, you know, supporting. You know, that's the whole point of support, is to support your team. That's your literal role. But even 10K MMR players don't play sometimes. Like they just don't play, and it just looks
for
like
a
this.
timing as a carry,
So in a way,
especially
MMR
when you
doesn't
know
really
you're
mean anything.
winning,
Just
because you have to be
increased
thinking,
chance of having a
my
better
team
game.
is thinking we're winning, why aren't we doing
also an
anything? So
increased
giving them
chance
that
of
reassurance,
your
like, hey guys,
teammates also
I'm just going to
playing,
farm this butterfly, and then we go.
like their maximum.
This type of
potential
communication puts a lot
to
of people
be,
at ease, and it makes it more
very
natural
good,
for
I
the
should say.
game state to
their maximum
not get
potential
rushed. Because a lot of carry
increases
players talk about,
MMR.
you know, oh, my team always tries to fight without me, and I'm not hit my timings yet. But like the best way to do it is knowing the situation of the game, knowing how they interpret it, which is we're ahead, we should do something.
Yeah,
and
we should do
just
something.
communicating
Yeah, exactly.
according
and
to
that
that.
would get your team very
So here I
frustrated
called for a
that
smoke
you're
with my
just doing
team, and I
shit,
did the
then
fat
you just
finger
pop
BKB. I'm not bullshitting you guys. I can't remember the last time I fat fingered a BKB, but I did it just for you to make it more difficult on myself. So I told my team, whoops, let's just wait. My bad, guys. So now my Invoker gets caught, and I said, okay, guys, we would have fought otherwise, but it's my bad. We're not going to fight them. I would have wanted to fight them otherwise.
And they didn't want to hear that, BSJ, if you actually did say that. Because now you're talking about a bad play, and yeah, you're owning up to it, but in their mind, they're like, no dip. You should have not used that BKB. You should have not used that BKB, and you should have done what you said, and instead you backed off, and now the Invoker died. Invoker died. It would just.
But it is what it is. Now we're going to farm away from where we last saw them. I just said get away from them.
An average Dota game. I'm talking about an average Dota game.
Get away from where we last saw them.
Okay, like, I'm not talking about,
I'm going to try to sneak this wave. Now that I see two heroes bottom, they should not be showing bottom like this on two heroes. That Shadow Shaman showing bottom and Ursa showing bottom is really bad.
It's the highest bracket.
It's okay if they show the Death Prophet, but them showing Shadow Shaman and Ursa makes me feel confident to get this DD rune and also clear this wave. These little...
Your team is still going to get mad at you for just activating your BKB, saying that you're going to make a play, and then you didn't make the play, and then you just, you know, like you just messed everything up and then got your teammate killed. That's how they're going to look at it in any bracket, at any MMR level.
Things about like showing on the map and what it means to the opponent is like really big.
And
now I just know they're all grouped. They showed again
like
on Ursa.
Honestly,
this Ursa, no offense,
a higher chance of one team to
showing
throw,
so
even though they're
a huge
playing
threat
really
to me.
well.
And if I know you're missing and Shadow Shaman's missing, I can't farm nearly as aggressively.
Essentially.
So now, you know, walking around with a DD, strutting up on SF. Knowing that they're still bottom, I know I'm allowed to take these towers. If they hadn't done that, I probably would just be jungling. So now I see them all bottom again. I'm saying I'm communicating to play for
very
Roche.
Cool. It's a totally different game at average. But then you do get games where your team plays like this, and then the enemy team sometimes play even a lot better than what they're playing. Sometimes they're just really fucking coordinated, and then your team doesn't do anything. But then some games, like I've had a game that lasted like 12 minutes. Like we won in 12 minutes. And it's like, it's because my team was super coordinated and the enemy team was super not wanting to coordinate with each other. They're all toxic. So it's like an instant win for us. But I've also had games where I lost in 12 minutes. So, you know.
We talked about this game. My pure job is to do damage.
I say 12 minutes as a way of saying like a very low time frame. Okay, I'm not saying 12 minutes exactly. I'm saying a really quick game. It can't happen on either side. But being a high MMR player doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end the game in 12 minutes. You know, it doesn't. I've seen a game end very early, like within 20 minutes of it being even in a 1K MMR bracket. I've been in 1K MMR. Like I've seen games end very, very quickly, and my team played very, very well. And I went all the way up to 6K. When I was a 5K, I played with so many people with 5K MMR that were much worse than 1K MMR. It was much worse.
That is my role in this lineup. So combination of doing damage on SF is being able to stand your ground, and then obviously then doing damage. So if you just build damage items to start, then you're not going to be able to do damage because you can't stand your ground. But then once you stand your ground, you need to be able to do the damage. So we're going straight for the data list.
My 1K MMR teammate could definitely play better than this 10K MMR teammate that Miracle has on his team. 100%. If he just had my 1K MMR buddy player with them, laning with them, they would own that lane. I used to think that, like, because it would be so accurate. Like, it really doesn't matter like what your MMR is. Like sometimes
generally a good rule of thumb as carry is 2 to 3 survivability items when you're winning.
Your teammate is just a really bad player. Maybe either A, if he is a bad player, he's got carried, right? But let's just assume that he's not because he's high MMR. He's probably mentally destroyed. Like he mentally tired himself out. and just played way too many Dota games lately, and he needs to go outside or something. So then he ends up missing obvious plays.
To damage kill people items. The kill people items can also be like Abyssal or like Nullifier. Just stuff that helps you hit people or stuff that gives you more damage. Heroes that naturally do damage by hitting are likely going to buy items like Nullifier, Abyssal, Blink Dagger, while heroes that need to make themselves do more damage are going to buy damage.
Team gets destroyed like twice in a row.
In this period of the game, I would like to pause and say that
like 80's like this. Last hits is like this. Timer is this. Why are you getting mad at me, bro?
I told my team we're not going high ground.
You die one time to be 11-2, and then boom, they kill your ancient, and then they win. You're like, bro, how is that my fault we lost?
Just kill them. We have like so much catch. We have Spear Breaker, we have Axe. Anyone who shows on the map, just kill them.
And if you tell your teammate what to do, they don't know that even though his name's BSJ, maybe it's just a fan. Obviously, it's just a fan, right? It's probably not BSJ himself, assuming that it's like from their perspective, I'm saying. Like, if you just join a random game and you see a guy named Crit, for example, in one of your games, it's probably not Crit himself, right? And that's what I'm trying to make. Like, so even though he literally named his, like, I want to say name his account, name his account BSJ, doesn't necessarily mean that they're up against BSJ, like in their eyes, right? Whether it's your teammate or the enemy team. So whenever BSJ says, hey, team, you should do this, your team is probably not going to listen, you know, like, because most people don't. You're basically insulting their intelligence. Like, how dare you try to tell me what to do when you're also a 4K MMR player? Like, clearly, he is 4K. Because look, if you look on his account and hover over it, boom, he's divine. You know, he just happens to name his guy BSJ. Like that could, or in the other example's case, he just happened to name his guy Crit. You know, or happen to name his guy Miracle. I've seen people with those names and lower and more brackets, and they could play really well or really good. Just depends.
That's what we're doing here. That's what I want to do. I never want to just walk high ground into like a Shadow Shaman Ursa. That's like a lot of burst damage that I just don't want to put myself at risk through. I've noticed that almost every person I've coached has like way too much of a high to go high ground. We end up like letting this Ursa get out, which I thought was pretty egregious, but it is what it is. People make.
How would they end up being able to stop them, BSJ? I actually want to hear how your teammate could have stopped Ursa from getting out. I guess if you land a tornado, but like you can't see them. They're in the fog of war. There's no way.
So the last thing I want to do in this game is walk high ground.
And he just so
they have so much
to
burst damage. They have so much team fight. That is the only way I'll ever die twice. And when you're winning like this, I know you're all super tempted, especially you other players, the non-carry players are all like, go high ground, pussy. Well, I'm telling you right now, the way to win this game near 100% of the time, or at least the highest percentage of the time, is to walk and kill people when your lineup can do that. If your lineup is able to say, even if they casted all 20 spells that they have on our guy with Aegis, he won't die.
Plus, they're all running with you, BSJ.
Unless you can say that, then don't go high ground.
Personally, it never.
So I was trying to tell my team, please deward their hills. Let's take their triangle. Let's just walk at them aggressively. We're charging the Ursa again. Invoker's TPing. I just want to walk at them. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I partially regret not buying a Blink Dagger. Because
which is probably... This is probably not a ranked game. This is probably not a ranked game.
I feel like I needed to be the one catching them. Because my teammates were a bit slower than I would like. But that's also, like, not my job in the game. So, I'm just going to keep walking
This
at
might
them
not be a
aggressively
pump.
is what I'm going to do. And I told my
I
team,
think
stop
about them
farming
playing
top.
like
My
an
mantra
actual
illusions
pump.
will
They've been
clear
playing
it.
like they're trying to
Just keep running at
something,
people,
but the enemy
please.
team is really
Just
bad
run
at
at
even,
them.
like, they don't
It's
know
really
how
funny
to
because in these
coordinate,
cases, like,
actually.
when you want to go high
With
ground
that being said,
and
then
they
the
have a
doesn't
really
know how to
strong team
coordinate.
fight and, like,
They don't
damage
get it.
combo, usually the best route to go high
Disruptor
ground is to
wants
kill people.
coordinate by
So
running
I'm like, guys,
backwards
run at
20
them.
minutes into the game,
So
not
now we're
even,
running
even
at
though
them.
he
We're
has
forcing the fight
fucking
outside
blips,
of base.
and they're trying to catch someone.
Eventually, we catch them. It took a while, but we
Disruptor
got
should be in
there.
the freaking front lines, actually.
And the damage
In
is
that
going to pay
case,
off.
so
We
that
have
he can get the
Daedalus. We
glimpse off
chunk
for
people.
certain.
See you later, Death Prophet.
That they're trying to catch someone. For certain.
And just like most problems in the world,
And I know because I main support.
it's solved by
I
money.
got to 6.1k playing support.
You win Dota games. Smurfs win Dota games because we have this net worth, guys. That is why you win games. So one thing you'll notice that I think is a classic mistake, or maybe just a situation you find yourself in as the enemy carry, is he's gone no defensive items. He has
Yeah, but Ursa
Blink,
didn't really do much the whole game.
Basher, an MKB, and a Battle Fury. So I just chunked this guy. So even though he has MKB
Yeah,
for
but he also
my
chunks
butterfly,
you too, dipshit.
if I were him, I would have
Just
looked
saying.
to buy
And
items that
then
allow
Ursa
me
have no
to
repercussions
be a
at
bit
all.
more defensive. And
Because
then
whenever Shalfin died, we all know he has Welcome of Souls whenever he dies. But Ursa is going to ult after the stun, right? Whenever he stuns, naturally, Ursa, for some reason, Ursa, troll players, Faceless Void, they love getting their bash in very, very quickly. Especially when you definitely don't want them to bash you at a particular moment. That's when they bash. For some reason, even though it's by chance. It's like the game is like designed for them to bash you at just the right moment. But Ursa didn't do anything though. Ursa can just ult, and then whenever Shadow Fiend dies, and Ursa timed his ult to be like after the stun wears off, you know, could be even a second later, whatever, you know, whenever he feels like. So that whenever Shadow Fiend dies and his ult goes off, it does essentially no damage to Ursa. Essentially, it's like minus 90% reduction, but let's be honest, that's basically zero damage. That's basically
kill
zero.
other heroes in fights, and I would have avoided me at all costs. I wouldn't be itemizing to kill me, basically.
What do you mean? You're position 1. Of course they will. And especially that's his job. Of course he's going to get MKB. If you're not going to get MKB, you can just literally sit there and just right-click for days and not get killed because your health bar looks like this. Your defense looks like that, which is ridiculous. 30 freaking 1. That's insane, dude. They can't do any damage to you. Physical damage, I should say. You got killer health. And then your butterfly basically amplifies your DPS and makes it so they can't touch you unless they get MKB. So what does he have to build? MKB.
Because we only have one source of damage, it's in his best
Him
interest
building
to just play
Butterfly
around.
won't work because when Shadow Fiend dies, Requiem of Souls, and plus he still has magic abilities. And then plus Axe, you know, he cares about evasion. Axe passive goes through evasion. This guy just likes to charge you and ult you, so it doesn't really matter. And then these two guys, we all know they're 100% spellcasters. Evasion doesn't do anything. So literally, Butterfly won't do anything for Ursa. Essentially. Really.
On the
Actually,
damage.
really.
So in this case, I actually
If anything,
decided
just get it
to
for the
go
Shadow Fiend,
boots
but,
of
like, at this
travel
point in the
because of the
game,
problem we're having catching
not
people on the
really.
map, and I felt like I was chasing after my team a lot.
You want to get MKB.
So I was like, okay, whenever I can't keep up with my
Way more
team, I have to
useful.
buy a mobility item. It could be Blink
As far as,
Dagger,
like,
Shadow
first, I'm
Blade.
saying, you're not gonna get
The
Butterfly
default
first,
is
like,
kind of
when you
boots of
got
travel.
Butterfly,
But the only
you
problem
wanna
is
get
boots of travel
MKB
solve no
first
other
against
problems in the
guy
game.
that you know as
So
Butterfly.
it's a little bit of a greedy purchase, but I also know I'm super far ahead in net worth, so
Just
I
like
can
if,
maybe
if,
afford to get it.
if Shadow Fiend was a PA. Ursa getting MKB, obvious. Like, it's obvious.
We take another
Of course you
Tormentor.
will.
This Aegis didn't get wasted, but I think if we were more efficient on the map, we could have gone high ground with it. But it's much better to say, if we had played better, we could go high ground, than it is to have gone high ground without having played better, if that makes sense.
Play better, more
So,
like just play
if there's
smarter. I think your plays have been pretty decent. It's just that your teammate, because you're also not playing with 12k MMR players, so they're not going to capitalize on this right away. They're not. You're still playing between 4 and 5k MMR players, so they're not going to want to capitalize this as quickly. But their plays, as far as making a play, could be a lot better than even 10k MMR players, because if anything, if anyone knows better about like matchups, 1v1, 2v2s, and like grouping to like attack someone, if anyone knows more about making that successful, is lower MMR players. They're the best at it. And why? Is because they're lower MMR for a reason. They can't do objectives. Like, think about it. They didn't even get tier 1 until like 25 minutes, even though they had like, it was like freaking 10 and 1. And they didn't even get a tier 2 of these tier 1 towers. And 22 minutes into the game, they still had two tier 1 towers, even though his stats was 10 and 1. That doesn't happen. Like, that's just not a thing. Like clearly.
One thing I can say to you guys that I'm seeing in so many of my coaching sessions,
but
just stop going
that is a
high
higher
ground
chance of
unless
happening
it's like
if you're in 1k
the
or more
perfect
player,
scenario.
but
Like,
mean they can't fight really well whenever they fight, and that's my argument. A 10k MMR player might have taken both of those tier 1 towers very quickly, even before he was 10 and 1. 100% chance. But also, they wouldn't be able to fight nearly as well as the lower MMR players, because they do it way more often and they analyze that crap way more deeply than higher MMR players. Because higher MMR players knows to focus more on the objectives, whereas the lower MMR players, they just want to kill. They just want to kill enemy heroes. They just love it. They farm, make plays, and them making plays is get hero kills, and they may or may not get a tower out of it. Or if they're really desperate and they say, hey, let's get a tower. It's like, it could take them like a whole minute to get the tower. Or like theoretically a whole minute. But because the respawn time is like 30 seconds, they could just TP in whenever they respawn and just kill you. You know, it's actually, I got a good, I know I've got a good example of that somewhere.
I'm really strong as an SF. I do a lot of damage at this stage of the game. So we know
he's only dead for 30
where they are. Let's take a
seconds,
smoke.
right?
I call this.
And they don't really got much physical damage. The only physical damage they have is Ursa. So really, like, it's really hard to destroy the tower without a catapult. Death Prophet, I mean, just wipes out the creeps really quick so that your creeps can kill the tower with your catapult. But then all you do to stop that is, once you see the catapult, hit Fortify, Death Prophet can't push. And you know what? The Death Prophet is going to sit there, if he's really desperate, for like a whole like minute, like solid minute. If you want to go into your game, right? If you want to go into your game right now against Death Prophet, and you see what happens after you click Fortify when Death Prophet is just by himself, just trying to take out a tower, or maybe with a Disruptor, you know, someone that definitely cannot right-click a tower that well. You'll see that Death Prophet will take more than 1 minute to take out a tower that has 80% HP or more. Easily. Like, easily more than a minute. And look, 15 minutes into the game, 30 seconds. That means they could literally try to kill Death Prophet, all die, and then after respawning, go and TP in and try to kill Death Prophet again. He's still trying to take out their tower, because it's going to take more than a minute to take out a tower, and they spawn in 30 seconds or less.
And it's pretty
Death
much just
Prophet was
free
mid,
pickings
so
for us.
naturally mid players, because they're going to be a higher level, they're going to take
And these
another
little
like 10 more
plays
seconds
where
or
you
so
dodge their
to respawn.
smokes, and then you know where
But
they
that's not that
are, and then
much.
you're like, guys, let's go kill them, because I'm strong.
And especially by the time they come,
Absolute,
Death
like,
Prophet's
breaking
will
open
be,
the game, right?
will be on cooldown,
So,
and
they're all
very
respawning.
easily
We're just
able
gonna
to be
farm our way
ganked,
up while they're
and then
dead.
just go and gank her. Be free.
I'm now thinking
Literally
like
free.
get to my crucial
No reason,
timings. I really
to
like
not
Manta
to not jump
against pretty much all of have on our guy with
Anyways.
AG. Damage is gonna pay off. We have Daedalus. We chunk people. See you later, Death Prophet. If we had played better, we could go high.
Okay. Hold on. He's still not stunned. He's still not stunned. He got hit 3 times and he's still not stunned. And then Ursa started attacking the creeps. You saw that, right? He just killed those creeps. Ursa just attacked the creeps of the Shadow Fiend.
So Manta paying off a lot there. Just pushing BKB and hitting.
It shouldn't have paid off though, to be honest.
And classic net worth differential. Honestly, that was like kind of sloppy from us. Like, you know, no doubt we could have just smoked that a lot better and smoother, but
BSJ, you're up against really bad players. That has
the
nothing to do with
Manta
MMR
disengaging
either.
from the
Like
Ursa,
4K MMR players,
and then the
I'd argue
BKB to hit
2K
them.
MMR players could have pulled that fight off.
That's the
really,
16k net worth
really
lead
well.
that we see. And I wanted Boots of Trap.
Like I say, lower MMR players can fight a billion times better than like a lot better than even 10K MMR players, because 10Ks focus on objectives more, way more. And they won't analyze quite as much as the lower MMR players. Because lower MMR players spend more time watching people that are good, whereas higher MMR players, they're just playing Dota, you know, and they probably never watched a high MMR player in their life, like back in the day especially. Like it was basically the lower MMR players I always watched, and the higher MMR players just didn't unless they were in esports.
Travel 2 so that I could connect to my Spear Breaker as well as my Axe when they're on the map.
So
And then my last item is to go Satanic, because at this point,
analyzing
yeah,
what
it's probably
you're
reliable that
doing,
Ursa's going to
like
take me down to like half
PvP and
HP,
stuff like
and as long as I
Or more
Satanic
playing
back up and I
that,
can tank
being
through
able to
the
identify what yours is
Death
good,
Prophet
what yours
ulti and all that kind of stuff, I should feel pretty good.
in terms of fights.
So this is the
I'd say.
first time all game that we're like, okay,
We're not winning
that's
the whole
enough
game, but,
heroes
like,
dead.
the fight
We can go high
itself.
ground now.
Just the fight itself.
We forced the fort, and I'm like, okay, we're back now. Farm it up. When in doubt, please just never go high ground. So I actually meant to TP out of
34
vision
minutes
here.
into the game,
I didn't
it's
mean
kinda-
to
it's still kinda
show
hard to
where
high
the
ground.
Spear Breaker was.
At the
I just
same
wanted to
time,
finish my
like,
Satanic. I'm also making the big mistake this game of
because
holding
Ursa's
on
still
to the
down,
Roshan
Death
banner
Prophet
for a
is still
super
down.
long
I really
period
feel
of
like Ursa
time.
went. Top, it's
We're
just
waiting
to
for our
force a
Axe to be
buyback,
ready to
if
fight
anything.
again because
Or
he's
if they
not
don't
with
buy
the
back, you
team.
just
We're
kill
just
that
farming
tower
up. I
and just
told
get
my
back.
team, hey, we're just
I think
waiting
you had plenty of
for
time,
my Satanic.
personally.
And
says when in
you
doubt,
guys
get
may
back,
not
but,
like
like,
it, but this is what peak carry performance looks like,
I think
which is just
potentially,
getting items,
if your team
not
was willing to
throwing,
work with you,
and taking fights with timings.
would have been able
So here
to.
we are.
to-
We've hit
to-
another
to-
timing. Roche is the next
convince them,
crucial
okay, two of
objective.
their
We're
teammate-
continuing to
two of their
spam
biggest
Manta
guys are
illusions
Death
down
Prophet
waves.
and their Ursa.
We saw them top, so we feel
Let's
safe
just kill
to
this tower real
farm.
quick. We just want to
But
fight.
there's not really much left to farm for.
And then we're immediately back. We get
So
the
what do we
Rax
do
later.
now?
Immediately back after
We're
tower.
grouped up with our
That
team,
would
trying to
have
make
been
something
the
happen.
best
We're just
play.
going to run around with our axe.
Best play to say, best play to do, you know.
One thing I'll note about this
Pretty
game is
sunset.
that it felt like it was difficult to get my axe and Invoker in the same area. They were constantly separated. Like in this case, Invoker's just top again. And whenever that's the case, you just have to be even more patient and just wait. There's like no real perfect
Yeah, but
opportunity
your
to fight.
teammate is
So
not
I'm
gonna
trying
be
to connect
patient
us. Like
because
look at my
it's
drawing across
still
the
a
map. I'm like,
pub.
guys, I just want to connect to the Invoker. But then Invoker actually TP'd behind us. So I'm waiting to see what happens here. I literally don't know what's going to happen, so I'm waiting. If I see them start the fight over here, so I'm like, okay, fine, we'll fight here.
Yeah, it's really weird that he isn't stunning.
And when they try to fight us outside of the base, it just doesn't work very well for them.
It should have, though. The Ursa is just a noob. It's literally
And
all
the
it
game is smooth sailing from here.
And also,
As
the
we
Shadow
look at the
Shaman
final
fucked
game
up by
scoreboard,
not-
it did take another 5 minutes to win, but fight us outside of the base. like
Shadow
look at
Shaman
my
didn't do
drawing
anything,
across
right?
the map. I'm like, guys, I just want
Am
to
I
connect
wrong?
to the Invoker.
What does Shadow Shaman
But
even
then
do?
Invoker actually
No way, they
TP'd
should have
behind
easily
us.
killed that ass.
So I'm waiting to see what happens here. I literally don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm waiting.
Shadow Shaman is messing up really bad. He's obviously over here. Like, clearly, because his whole... Okay, well, he's down here. But I'm saying, like, clearly, Shadow Shaman is in the fight. He's just not doing anything. Look, Shadow Shaman is literally running towards the lane. Running towards the lane. And he's the one guy that could shut that guy down besides the Ursa, who literally... I thought he had Skull Basher. Maybe it's just really unlucky with
over here. So I'm like, okay, fine, we'll fight here.
And Ursa just uses his ult
And
after
when they try to fight us
enemy
outside of the
team
base,
uses all their spells.
it just doesn't work very
make
well
any
for them.
sense. Doesn't make any sense.
And the game is smooth sailing from here. As we look at the final game scoreboard, it did take another 5 minutes to win, but very straightforward.
I know I did talk a lot of smack this game, but it's crazy though. Like, he clearly had an easy game. He clearly had an easy game.
How helpful the carry is. Heroes
He clearly
walk
had an
through the
easy game.
position. So in these types
Clearly,
of
like,
games
they're
on
not
SF,
doing
because he heavily
anything.
relies on mana away, so I'm like, I'm going to play defensive. But then I see the Shadow Shaman walking into the where the mangoes pay off. He relies on mana in order to lane, in order to farm, and he's walking into the middle of both of us. And I immediately think this is an opportunity to capitalize
doesn't do
on.
anything, man.
So I thought he was
Especially
juking us.
Shadow Shaman's gonna die anyways. Like, the best he could do is at that point use Flame Spirits to reduce his attack speed, so that he can't just right-click the Shadow Shaman to death. And then guess what? You have this lane to deal with. Push the lane as quickly as possible so that you can deny the Shadow Fiend and the Crystal Man the experience. And also the gold too, because they're going to miss all those last hits due to the tower, and you get tower damage as well because your creeps can be attacking the tower. And there's just so many positive things that this offlaner, this Phoenix can do instead of coming down here. Well, anyways, that's the end of this video. I'll see you later.